Hey everybody, Digital Sticks here, and I want to try to get a more clear view on my opinion on the Quest 2. This is not really meant to reinvent the wheel. If anyone gets it already, then you can move along. But if you're still considering that headset, because it's still on the market, it's still one of your leading options to consider on a budget, let me just explain very clearly. Uh, First off, this is for PCVR users. If PCVR is not on your options list anytime soon, don't worry about it. As a standalone VR headset, you're going to be wowed by VR. There are some experiences and opportunities on the Quest 2. I would definitely suggest getting a Quest 2 before passing on VR altogether. I think it's a worthwhile thing to do. It's unfortunate that it's Facebook that's behind the headset that you can get a hold of for that, but it is what it is, and it's still worth using. So, yeah, definitely keep that in mind. But if you have a VR capable PC, or you can get one when you decide you want one, or whatever, uh, at that point, the main issue with the Quest 2 is the same issue I had with the original Quest, is its lack of comfort. And I want to point out that this lack of comfort may not be as intolerable for all people as I've found it to be. And so while there still seems to be consistent agreement that there's a lack of comfort, there definitely was on the original Rift. It doesn't seem, or the original Quest, it doesn't seem to be as strongly clear on the Quest 2 as it did on the original Quest, but it's still present on some. And honestly, without using the headset, trying to gather a reliable opinion on that myself has been essentially impossible. Like I've really tried to narrow it down, and even when I ask people specifically about this comfort, for whatever reason, nothing is leading to a better idea that it's comfortable, if that it's more comfortable universally whatsoever. And so, and also now, in addition to aftermarket mods, you also have people that are buying factory mods from Facebook themselves, the Elite Strap and everything. So now you don't even necessarily have everybody on the same page when they're rating the comfort. And so this is all very important. So the reason why that's the leading issue for me is social VR, is why I'm enthusiastic about VR, period. Now, I enjoy VR gaming. VR itself had a wow factor to it, absolutely. Beat Saber's great. The idea for getting exercise regularly like that was cool. The eye exercises that prompted me to get VR to begin with definitely show some potential there, and coming up with ways that I could continue to do some of those exercises using VR, even without being able to afford to do those programs that I use at the clinic at home, was also helpful. So those are all great, but everything that I most enjoy about VR has comfort as a key element of the headset that I use. Beat Saber is probably the least important for that comfort. Now, the fact that I went from playing the original levels thinking that this wasn't for me, like I was never going to be very good, to being expert plus level, that was completely a result of having a comfortable headset that wasn't limited by battery life, and that had a consistent play space set up and that was ready to go. Absolutely, for me, excelling at Beat Saber completely depended on how convenient it was and reliable it was to play for as long as I was up to playing. So, which was pretty long early on. Now, as you get better, you get winded a little quicker, because there's a whole lot of difference in the calories you burn between expert that you did back on normal levels or whatever. So, anyways, so even with Beat Saber, early on, it can still be an issue. But I know for now that I get in so much in so short amount of time, I played Beat Saber on the original Quest that I had. Now, it does have some mods for comfort, but I was able to play my typical time frame of Beat Saber right now before school without any issues. But again, I used to play for well over an hour, probably 2 or more hours at a time, especially early on while I was improving rapidly, and that definitely required comfort. But again, social VR is the most important thing to me, and that is really the reason why I even have content on VR. I basically would trust that gamers would find their peripherals through the networks that already exist, but definitely people who haven't yet discovered the potential of social VR include people that aren't even gamers. And so that's really wanting to share the potential of VR for that purpose is really what got me into creating content to begin with. And that experience that I enjoyed was made possible by a comfortable headset. Now that I know what VR is like on a comfortable headset, these uncomfortable gimmicks, by comparison, are completely unacceptable to me in my book. If you're on a budget, you're having to make some poor choices from poor offerings. Thank Facebook for that. If you had hoped that you could buy a quality headset, well, Facebook bought the company that used to provide that option at a budget, and they took away that option. That's just the truth of it. So you have to now go with the discomfort, and then you have to go with a link or you can sideload and do wireless. For some experiences, some games don't work well with the latency of wireless through that solution. But anyways, you've got some options there, but honestly, it used to be better for people on a budget, for a brief period. I mean, VR started off as being kind of niche, kind of expensive, but the CV1 came way down in price, and it could have continued being down in price for an extended period of time. But Oculus, now a Facebook company, rushed in a different direction. So, and that's it. The comfort. That the lack of comfort of the Quest 2 is why I'm not a fan of it. Next comes the Facebook account and the Oculus software. Oculus software the Facebook account, obviously makes the whole shebang spyware, period, unnecessarily. This is just for Facebook. That's no extra benefit for you. They took away features initially to try to get people to voluntarily link their Facebook, and then people just lived without those features, and so now they've forced you to have the Facebook account. It is completely unnecessary. It doesn't add anything of value to the VR experience, period. It only takes away from the completeness and solid feel of having something that you paid for, that you own, that feels like it's part of a PC gaming experience instead of part of a locked-in ecosystem. Because, people that use gaming consoles, they're used to being limited to whatever comes to their console. People who play PCVR game or PC games in general have been, there might be some console exclusives that don't come to PC, but for the most part, they have access to everything that people want to play, and they've been used to that. They're also not limited in what they can do to upgrade. They can mix brands if they want to. They can be loyal if they want to. They're used to freedom. They're used to not having their product go completely obsolete with no notice, but rather having things that motivate them to upgrade. And they can decide between a upgrade or a complete replacement if it's been a long time and they're really behind the curve. They're used to simply paying as they go for what they want. And they're not being spied on in return for that. There's no gimmicks. Nothing was given to them for free in exchange for their hand size or anything like that. They literally buy what they want and they expect to use it. And that's been the way it worked. Facebook is trying to turn VR that you pay for into the spyware of a mobile phone that was only spyware because they were giving you free services in exchange for your data. Facebook is not giving you free services in exchange for your data. They're just simply taking your data in exchange for something that you bought. That's not right. So that's the other beef. And then on top of that, their PC software is just spamware. It loads you up full screen. Every turn it is shoving your face with full screen stuff from their store. And I don't know about you, but most of the time I launch VR, I'm launching it to play a game, not consider buying other games. When I'm ready to buy other games, I don't launch VR to do that. I launch the Steam store and browse it at my comfort and my convenience. In the meantime, they never shove their store in my face, ever. Ever. It doesn't even load by default under any circumstance. Unless I specifically want to go to Steam's store, I'll miss every sale, everything. Unless I purposely sign up for alerts or anything like that, I don't know how many sales I've missed. You know what? I don't care, because the majority of the time I don't want a sale. I want to load my game and play. And when I'm playing my game and I'm switching to other things, I don't want to have to close software. When I open my dashboard, I don't want to close an Octus store before I see my desktop that I was trying to see. And more than that, I would much rather open my dashboard and be able to change my resolution or my super sampling on the fly or my refresh rate like I do with my index than to not have any of those options, only spamware from Oculus. So it's terrible, guys. You're being treated like a stepchild on freebies, even though you bought your hardware. Forget that. That is not the way this medium should work. That is not a quality experience for this medium. If you're using the mobile device, you don't have a choice. Enjoy it for what it is. But if you're using a PC that's capable of VR, guys, you don't need that nonsense. It's a much better experience with Steam. I promise. All right, I'm Digital Sticks, and I am out.